What up, y'all? It's your boy R to the A to the S. Yes, Rise here with See What Comes from Blog. And today I am doing a blog. I said a blog called Crucial Conflicts. And I guess you could put a subtitle, Avoiding Beefs and Arguments 101. This is a 101 class, beginner's class for you guys. And I know some of you have some major issues in getting into arguments, getting into beef with folks. It might be folks on your job. You might have a boss. You might have a co-worker that don't know how to communicate in a healthy way. They might talk to you like a child, especially some of these females. I'm just telling the truth. I ain't trying to start no beefs. But they don't know how to communicate with brothers. They don't know how to communicate with people. You might have beef with your pastor. You might have beef with people in your church. You might have beef with people online, which I never understood. How do you have beef with somebody you don't know? You don't see them, but you got a beef with somebody you don't know? I never understood that. I never had a beef with somebody online. How do you ever? Alright, I'm going to leave that alone. But anyway, some of y'all got beefs. Some of y'all fall into the traps of arguing. And let me say this, I'm not against all arguing. There are fun arguments. I argue all the time about Kobe Bryant. But some of my friends are Lakers fans. You know what I'm saying? Some of my best friends are Laker fans. So it's not a serious argument. Some of you might argue for the simple way of trying to learn from somebody else's perspective. And that should be the goal in arguments. But that's not always the goal. Which just gets us to our first point. And that is, don't feed the flesh. Alright? Don't feed your flesh. Your flesh loves to eat self-glory. You just, self-glory. Delicious. Your flesh loves self-glory. And in some sense, arguing, if done in the wrong way, is self-glory. You get off on the rush. You get off on the emotion. You get off on the high. You get off on yelling, screaming, shaking, going crazy. Alright? You get off on that. You get off of the attention. That's feeding your flesh. And your flesh is like, this is delicious. While your spirit is grieving. Because you want to feed your flesh. My. So number one, don't feed your flesh by arguing. Number two is you don't need to respond to everything. I know what you said. Repeat that again, preacher. I will. You don't need to respond to everything. Now, I work in a juvenile prison, and some of these kids are in prison. They're supposed to be going home, but they're in prison right now because they have not learned not to respond to everything. Some people know that you have certain weak spots. Like they might say, yeah, your mama, blah, blah, blah. My mama? You talking about my mama? And they get all upset. And then everybody got to hold them back from fighting. And the guy who said it laughing at them. Why? Because they know that when I say this, he going to respond. You're a slave to that person. Whatever they do, you going to fall for it. You going to respond. They know your weakness. You know what I'm saying? They know if they say this certain thing, you going to go off. You going to start the cussing. You going to start saying words you thought you forgot. You ain't forgot it. You ain't forgot it at all. And you're cussing, you're blanking and blank. Why? Because you respond to everything. You can't, just ignore it. How about that? Won't you try to ignore it? Like I always tell the kids in prison, they don't know your mama. You ain't gonna talk about your mama. You don't know your mama. You can't talk about somebody you don't know. You know you don't know your mama, so why you responding? Why you responding to every little comment online. Again, I said I don't understand online beefs, but people be arguing online. Why are you responding to that? Can't you ignore it? That you know that person knows that your weakness is, and you're going to respond to it? Don't be a fool. Don't respond. Ignore. You ain't got to defend yourself on everything. Sure, there is a time and place to defend yourself on something, but some of y'all defend yourself on every little thing. You got to learn how to ignore. Number 3, and that's even if they attack your character. Even if they attack your character, you got to learn how to ignore. Number 3, don't fall for the traps. Don't fall for the traps. Like I said, some things you just got to say, forget it. Ignore it. Some people want to bait you into arguments. Alright? They want to bait you into it. You ain't got to get into no argument. How many people it take to argue? 1, 2. 2 people. You can't argue with one person. A person arguing with you and you ain't arguing. Something wrong, y'all. That person crazy. It's like they talking to themselves. It takes 2 people to argue. 2 to argue. So don't fall for the traps. I had somebody, said not too long ago. They said some things, some personal attacks on me. You know what I did? I ended the conversation. That's what you got to do, guy. You got to end the conversation. Like, okay, I understand your perspective. You attack me, that's fine. Let's end the conversation there. And I've done that many times. Even when I'm personally attacked, let's end the conversation. With atheists, I have to do that because I know me. You know what I'm saying? You keep on personally attacking me, I'm going to come on and attack you back. Alright? I'm going to attack you back. I'm going to find out your weakness, attack you back. So to avoid all that, let's end the conversation here. We just going to agree. That's my favorite one. We going to agree to disagree. We see it differently. Now, you can't change the person's mind, but you giving them your perspective, what you believe is true. They giving theirs, is over. All right? That's all you got to do. And then lastly, this is short, lastly, you got to learn to forgive. Some people get into arguments with folks over something that happened 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And they argue with that person, and it seems like they arguing about what's current, but they still upset about what happened years ago. You got to learn to forgive. You got to learn to forgive. Because if not, all it's going to do is transform the different arguments. It's going to be a different subject, but it's still the same old argument. And you argue with that person because you haven't forgiven them. So you're going to keep on arguing. That could be your mama. Some of y'all ain't spoke to your mama in a couple months. Because you ain't forgave her. You ain't spoke to your daddy, your cousin. Some of you been adopted, you know what I'm saying? You ain't forgave that. You gotta learn to forgive. Alright? Learn to forgive. So this is how you avoid arguments and conflicts, y'all. That's all I got. Just give you something to think about for your mind. Alright? This is your boy Roz here with Proceed with Caution Blog. And do I even have to say it? I mean, y'all saw it yourself. Y'all know that Kobe sucks. And I'm out. Triple.